Hello and welcome to Property Money Trees, Maximising Property Values, the once a month show where I break down the steps of how to recognise, enhance, and then extract the values in property in order to create wealth. Would you like to find out how you can benefit from the steps of maximising property values? This is even if you don't own a property yet or have a deposit. If that's a yes, then you're in the right place to find out. My name is Patricia Faber, and although many know me for my work as a solicitor, on this show you will be getting the benefit of my 30 plus years worth of experience of maximising property values, experience which has given me a net worth in millions. So who might benefit from listening to this show? Literally anyone with an interest in creating property wealth. Welcome back. So during the last month, I must have said something somewhere, and someone reached out to me and asked me why how I decide on what I buy, what interests me. And I literally said, if the thing is going to give me enough money that makes it worth my while to get out of bed, then I'm interested. And for me, that number is usually 50,000. So if on paper it's looking like 50,000, I'm not really going to go for it because anything can go wrong. And then that will mean that £50,000 becomes less if something does go wrong. And it's just not worth the effort as far as I'm concerned. And I guess maybe it's because of my age or because of some other things or because I get tired a lot easier and quicker than some other people. But for me, if there's not a guaranteed £50,000 in something that I'm looking to either flip or keep, I'm really not interested. I guess if I'm going to keep it and the rental return is absolutely superb, then the £50,000 is less important. But if I'm going to flip it, I need that £50,000. So how do I work out whether or not I've got £50,000? So I start by going to the, so let's say I'm looking to buy in a particular town on a particular road. So let's say the road is road ABC in, let's say, Croydon. So what I'll do is I will go to Google and I will put into my search bar road ABC Croydon sale. And then that will bring up whatever is on that road, either for sale or that has sold. And I start my due diligence from there. And then after that, I will go to property data. Again, I'll key in all the necessary data, see what it's telling me. And then I'll look to see what improvements I can make and how that will impact the bottom line. So again, I take that into account. And then once I've got those figures, what I do is I will put a certain amount. So I have this sheet that I use, and it works it all out for me. So it starts out with the acquisition costs, and the first line there is purchase price, and then after that I've got the stamp duty cost. So again, I'll put that in, legal fees, survey / valuation, broker fees, other buying costs. So if I'm buying from an auction, I want to be looking at the buyer's premium. I'll put that in there. I'll look at the vendor's solicitor's fees. Don't forget VAT. I'll put that in there. All the other costs that are listed in the special conditions, they will go in there as buying costs. And then that will give me a total purchase cost. Then my next column is for development costs. So that is just like my refurb, or if I want to do a loft extension, all of those things, they will go in there. Now, because I often buy flats, I also have an element of extension costs, lease extension costs. Again, that would go in there, and then that would also be added up. Then the next column is finance costs. So what I do is I will take all of that money under the acquisition costs and I will apply at the moment, so we're talking 2024, Q1 2024, I will apply 8% to that amount. And it doesn't matter whether or not I'm using angel finance or I'm using some of my own money or I'm getting a mortgage. No, because if the money is not going to yield a return on 8%, for me, it's not worth it. So as you can see, there are various checks and balances that I'm actually putting into place as things go along. So that gives me my finance costs, and then that will give me my grand total costs. Then the next bit that I have is net profit. So I put in my GDV. Now, when I'm putting in my GDV, I'm being slightly conservative because I don't want to come a cropper. I really do not want that. I want to know that I'm definitely going to make at least £50,000. So my GDV goes in there, and then all the costs that I've mentioned before, they will come off of that to give me a net profit. Then I've got selling fees at 2%. Now, the last time I sold, I actually did it myself, so I didn't incur anything, but I do actually like to use estate agents to sell. 2% is actually, it's a good number. A lot of them will do it at 1.5. I know Foxtons do it, I think theirs is 3.5, 3.75, but 2% is a good number to work with. And I normally instruct 2 selling agents so that there's a nice good competition and nobody's actually going to kind of like, just not advertise my property so that they can give it to a mate. It just makes me feel a bit more comfortable if I've got 2 people doing the work. And then after that, I am given on my spreadsheet net profit. So this is before tax. We've got to remember that. So I'm saying I want 50,000 before tax, and that is how I get to my numbers. I hope that has been helpful for people. This, for me, is the only way to do it. A number of things that I was bidding on in auctions this month. So this is the month of February. This podcast is going to be released on the 1st of March. And I didn't get them because I'd already hit my ceiling. Now, with my ceiling, I know exactly how much is left, as that net profit. So with this ceiling, I look at the number in the purchase price, especially if I'm buying, actually wherever I'm buying, and I keep adjusting that until the net profit to sell is a number that I'm happy with. And then I know that if I pay any more than that, I will get less than what is in this net profit box. And like I said, that for me has to be roundabouts like 70 odd to guarantee the 50, because anything can go wrong. You can start your refurbishment and you could come across something that you weren't actually expecting that the builder needs to charge you more for. So yeah, it's worth just being cautious. Having said, some people might think I'm being overcautious, but for me, this is what I'm comfortable with. There's no point in going above my ceiling if I'm going to be going to less than 50. Now, with some, other ones, I've got ceilings of whatever the amount might be, and I know that I've got 78,000, 88,000 pounds worth of net profit. So I've got a bit more leeway. So, but we do need to be disciplined, because I bid on something last month, and I went over my ceiling by £10,000, but there was still enough money in there. But then, it was going further, and I thought, I don't know who's bidding against me. It was 2 of us left. They could be a builder, so it's going to cost them less to actually do the works than it would me. So they could pay more and still end up with more net profit. So, but that doesn't concern me, because all I'm concerned about and all I know is my own personal circumstances. So that's how I work things out. I hope some people find this helpful and useful. And if you've got any questions that you would like me to address in future podcasts, just reach out to me and let me know, and I will do something as in depth as this. And, you know, those of you who do take notes, you would be able to actually do this sort of thing yourself, or yourselves, I should say. If anyone wants me to share the spreadsheet, just reach out and I will. Okay, take care. Till next month.